And I am Damien Fanugan, which is me.
Hey, Damien.
Hey, Billy Jack. We got a great show for you guys. As you know, our shows give you practical information that works in today's world. And Billy Jack, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about getting high on yourself.
Getting high on yourself. Yeah. And speaking of getting high on yourself, what are the two driving forces?
Well, the two driving forces are pain and pleasure. Pain and pleasure. Give them some examples, Damien.
Well, we all know what pain is. Like if we need to clean out a closet or an attic or a basement, a lot of times we don't like doing that because it's painful. It can be for a lot of people because they don't have the motivation and they can't get excited about doing something like that.
Yeah, but if we say, hey, let's go to a party, or let's go to the movies, or let's go to a concert, that's pleasure, and people don't have any trouble doing that.
Yeah, that's true. So, pain and pleasure are the two things that drive people. It's like people will do almost anything to avoid pain and will just, they need to move in a direction toward pleasure. So, pain and pleasure are the two things that drive people. And speaking of which, Billy Jack, what are the two things that people want to do more than anything?
Well, they either want to change how they feel or they want to change their behavior.
Right. They either want to change how they feel or they want to change their behavior. And that again goes back to pain and pleasure, the two driving forces. Because if you want to change how you feel, then you must be feeling in a way that is not very pleasurable. And it's probably more painful. So you need to change that. And if you want to change your behavior, then it's probably you're doing something that's bringing about an unpleasant feeling or going in a painful direction. So you definitely would want to do that. Change how you feel or change your behavior. And so, what are some ways that people use to change how they feel?
Well, a lot of times people use drugs, heroin, coke, marijuana, um, crack, a number of things, kratom, things that, which are artificial. They're not going to take you to a higher state of consciousness or a higher state of awareness. That's only temporary. And the same with alcohol. People use alcohol and it's just temporary. You get a temporary high and then you crash and then you feel horrible the next day. And then there's food. People use food as a way to change their mental state because they are addicted to food and they eat that and they feel better for a while and then that wears off and they go back to feeling bad. And then people use sex. They use that as a way to feel better. Music, traveling, shopping, all of those things are just artificial. They don't last. Because if you're happy, happiness comes from inside of you.
That's right, Billy Jack. Happiness is something that you create, it's not something outside of you. Happiness is manifested and created by you and only you. You're not going to be happy by buying something, using a drug, eating something. All of those things are temporary and they don't last. If you want to be happy, you have to work on yourself. And that means getting inside of you and creating the happiness. It's not going to come from outside of you. And that's why we talk about getting high on yourself, because people use artificial things as a way to feel happy. And all of those things are just transitory, temporary states. Now, if you want to get high on yourself, Billy Jack and I have, some things you can start with and things you can start doing today. What's number one, Billy Jack?
Well, the first thing you got to do is eat better. You can't eat junk food, fast food, sodas, candy, sugar. You got to eat all organic, all natural, plant based foods that don't have any chemicals or preservatives or dyes. And that in itself will make you depressed. So much of the food is so heavily processed that it creates a feeling of depression and mood swings and all these depressionable states and bipolar conditions is brought about by food because the food has all these preservatives in it and the chemicals and the dyes and they create these states where people feel horrible after they eat this food. So you have to change how you eat first off.
And the second thing you need to do is exercise. You gotta get some exercise. Whether you go to a gym, you work out at home, you outside, walking, running, but you gotta get some exercise. That is paramount. Eating right, exercise, and what's number three, Billy Jack?
You have to start connecting with things that you're passionate about, whether it's art or music or painting or doing something that you like, and try to find things that really get you excited and that you really are motivated by doing it, and do more of those things, and you're going to start feeling better. And by eating right, exercising, getting involved and creating things that you're passionate about is very, very important. And then tell them, Damien.
Well, the next thing is don't watch the news. Stay away from television, negative things. The news primarily is designed to bring you down, to provide information that's negative, to affect you, to lower your consciousness, and make you focus on things that are horrible. What good is it going to do for me to know that 5 people were found dead in a basement? That's not going to help me at all. If you're going to tell that, then tell it in a way that empowers me so that I can do something about it. But the way the news is set up, it's set up to give you negativism, to affect you in a very negative way and bring you into a state of fear and withdrawing from life. And that is horrible. And so you want to stay away from the news. Don't read any newspapers. Don't watch television. That affects you in a way that you couldn't possibly imagine, in a negative way. So stay away from any kind of negative things. Connect to things that are extremely powerful, that are motivating, that are exciting, that you're passionate about. And what's the next thing, Billy Jack?
The next thing is make sure you get enough rest, because a lot of people are sleep deprived. They don't get enough rest. They're only going on 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and you gotta make sure that you're well rested. Well rested is really important because you can't go through the day if you're tired. And a lot of people, they're around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, they want to get an energy drink, because they're totally depleted of their energy. And that's because, one, they've been eating horrible and they haven't had enough rest. So you have to make sure that you're well rested, get enough sleep. That's really, really important.
And then if you're really still have, negative things going on, Billy Jack and I, we have something that can really help you. We have a counseling where we will work with you to help you get rid of the mental barriers in the mind, because a lot of times, people have negative thoughts, and they're thinking, they can't do something, or they got things going on, but sometimes it requires some counseling, and not any kind of counseling. I mean, counseling that tells you what's wrong with you is crazy. That's not the kind of counseling you need. You don't need counseling telling you the reason why you're afraid of women is because your mother beat you and your aunt, yelled at you, and that kind of nonsense. You need real workable counseling that works. And that's what Billy, Jack, and we've got that. So, these are some things we wanted to make sure you got. Uh, you got to get high on yourself, and that starts with eating right, getting exercise, being passionate, and doing things that you're passionate about. Don't watch any news or negative things. Get enough rest, and if you need be, get some counseling, but get it from the correct source. In fact, you should get in touch with us because we know some correct sources for you, where you can get the help that you need. Not the mumble jumble craziness that's going out there, and because there's a lot of that kind of stuff happening. So that's what we wanted to tell you for this episode, and that's what anything you want to say, Billy Jack?
No, that's it for now, guys. Like I said, it's really important that you get high on yourself. Don't use any artificial stimuli. Get high on you. Get high on life. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, none of that stuff. Because that is not going to help you in the long run. And again, Damien and I, we're here to help. If you want help from us, we will help you. If you have questions, put them in the comment section. Watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And we have a Patreon page. Please go to our Patreon page and join us so that we can help more people get this information out to more and more people, so that we can raise the awareness and the consciousness of the public. And when you do that, then people will naturally be able to get high on themselves, and they don't rely on things that will bring them down, that are artificial. Artificial highs don't last. Okay, guys, that's it. Welcome to Baby and the Snake. We will see you on the next episode. And tell them, Damien, how are we doing?
We're fantabulous to the nth degree. We'll see you guys. Have a great afternoon, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys.